So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Metaphysical Bible Hangout. And I am Reverend SherriDeniseJames, the creator of this incredible platform that I'm so fortunate to get to do every Thursday night. I'm so glad that you are here. Some of you are watching this later, but we are going through this book, Vivid Vision, by Cameron Herold. And it's a book that I'm working with personally to develop the vision for a church. And I thought that it was a perfect way to really flow into 2022, clear, focused, with just knowing what it is that we want to accomplish in our personal lives. So this book is definitely a book for entrepreneurs, but I believe that the principles that are shared apply everywhere. You can use this book to write a vision for your family. You can use this book to write a vision for your personal life. You can use it to write a vision for your marriage, or your business or your career. You have a very clear, detailed picture of your career, where it is that you want to go. So don't get hung up on the idea that this is for entrepreneurs. This principle applies everywhere. So I'm going to approach it like that. So last week, guys, we said we were going to come back and identify our big, hairy, audacious goal. Big, hairy. So you think about big and hairy, like I don't know if anybody. So I will tell you, I'm not a beard person. So generally, guys that have beards tend not to be like my type of guy, whatever, because I'm just not into the hairy kind. So when I think of big and hairy, I think of something I don't want to deal with. Okay, so that's probably TMI, but that's all right. It's just us four, right? And whoever's watching on YouTube and Facebook. So, so the question is, what is that big, hairy, just scared of living daylight's goal out of you that you have chosen? I'm listening, and I'll share mine, and you can share a portion. You don't have to share, because I know sometimes some of the things that we talked about, these things are close to your heart and you're not ready to kind of talk about the whole thing, but there's just one part that you can share.
Okay, I guess for me, it would be the plan to eventually have an income of $10,000 a month.
Good. Okay.
Or more.
Or more. That's it.
Or more.
Or more. Yes.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Yes.
And it's especially good because right now, as far as income, there's $0 a month. So
okay, so it is big and hairy and audacious. Okay, all right. That's what we're going for. We're going for big, hairy, audacious.
Right.
All right.
Big, hairy, and audacious. So it means it's out there, right? So mine is to be on a stage somewhere, teaching to a crowd about something about truth, like something like I want to be a teacher to like a crowd of individuals.
Yes, I see it. I claim it for you. Yes. yes. Okay, Shamika, where you at? I know there's a part that you cannot share, so I want to respect that. But is there any part that we can hear?
I've been thinking about this. I guess to well, let's see, to earn income just on being myself.
Okay.
Just on my thoughts.
Yes.
Whatever I do, it just earns income.
To monetize Shamika.
Oh, I love that. I love how you said that. Monetize me.
Yes. So my big, hairy, audacious goal is to deliver Up Church into its own building and to, I mean, that's big all by itself, right?
Yes.
But, we're a community of 85 going on 100 people. And I have an international trip that I want to have fully funded for our young people, taking them to Israel, to Greece, and to Turkey, where they get to visit the places in the Bible that they have learned about through their Sunday school classes. So they'll get to go to the island of Patmos, where John wrote, not the apostle, but John the seer wrote Revelation. They'll get to go to Turkey and see some of those old ancient churches that are still standing. They'll get to walk the walk where Jesus carried the cross to Golgotha. They'll get to swim in the Dead Sea. They'll get to cross the Jordan River and see what that's like. They'll just get to experience things that they've only read about. And that trip means a lot to me, because when I was, excuse me, I need water. I got like a smidge left. Let me drink it slow. When I was 17, I won a trip, and I think I shared this last week, I'm not sure, but when I was 17, I earned one, but I was selected one of 10 juniors in the city of Houston, to go to Israel. And I spent 6 weeks over the summer in Israel, and that trip changed my life, changed my outlook on life. I felt like I came back and I thought of myself as a citizen of the world, and it lifted everything. And one of the things that made it important for me to be able to do it is that it was completely paid for. If my mom had to come up with the money as a single mom with 3 kids, I would not have been able to take the trip. As it was, I had $300 to last me while I was there, total for 6 weeks. And so, while my travel mates were like eating out and buying souvenirs, it was like, yeah, okay, I got to deal with bare necessities. Yeah, I got $3 entire $100 to last. That's $50 a week to last the entire trip. So what I want is, and clearly this is where the feeling is, I want that trip paid for fully. I don't want, like, any child that's selected or any child that's able to go, I want it paid for fully. And so that it's not a hardship on the family, and that it's as life-changing for them as it was for me. So that's my big, hairy, audacious goal. So 2025, we got a group of kids, could be 3, could be 40, group of kids that are being flown across the world to see these amazing places.
That's awesome.
Cool. Okay, so we're on part 2. So the way that we're moving through this book, I really could spend 12 weeks really parsing it out, but I just want to do this as a 4-part series. So in November, 18 minus 7, November 11, we did the part 1. I had to get the numbers together, y'all. Then we did part 1 and worked on just what is the vivid vision and why you need a vivid vision. And hopefully I've made the case for the value of this, because it helps people to just opt in and support you. And your vision should be big enough that you by yourself cannot do it. So so that's why I say it really should scare you. It should be big and hairy and a little bit of what you don't want to deal with, right? You want it, but whatever you have to do to go through to like get it is like a little bit scary to you, or a lot bit scary to you, right? And so that's how you know you got the right thing, because it's kind of like, how is this going to happen? I don't know, but I'm putting it out there. So in that process, that's what you're doing, and you're looking for that feeling. and everybody shares something. And Claudette, I skipped over you, but I apologize because it was just the camera was off, so I just was looking at the faces. Did you come back with your big, hairy, audacious goal?
No, I
Okay.
didn't. No, I haven't.
Would you like
have
some
not.
support in developing it?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about what's important to you, that if you could snap your fingers and have it fixed, what would that be?
I have a thing of helping people that are hoarders, to help them. It's a lot of work to work through it and to be able to say, okay, it's time for this stuff to go. It's a really deep process.
Mhm.
I know I've helped a couple of people, but they go right back, so right now that's the only thing I can think of.
Okay. And tell me what that help is like and why. Give me your why behind that.
I'm a great listener. And if they want to talk about it, I can listen and be non-judgmental about it, and support them, tell them it's going to be okay. And, you had it for 30 years and you haven't used it. So why it's time for it to go. But I think I need some more education about that also.
Mm,
Yeah.
that sounds like the goal right there.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sounds like the goal right there, that I have this need to help, but
Right.
I'm hitting the upper limits of my ability to know how to help.
All right. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
Mhm.
And so 3 years from now, let me just throw this out there. You tell me if this fits. 3 years from now, you are making your living as a declutter coach.
That would be fine. I would hope to be retired, actually.
Okay. Okay.
But that would be fantastic. Yes, that's a great goal. I never had a goal like that,
Okay.
or a vision like that. Yeah.
Okay. So you're not really looking to create a business around it, but it's a service that you want to do. So give me who you want to help. Who do you care about most? Think about it this way. What breaks your heart?
Senior citizens, being abused or not cared for. I also have a cleaning business, and it's unbelievable. I go into people's house and clean, and they have kids. They have grown kids in that house, and they just refuse to clean up.
Right.
So that's
Mhm.
that's it.
Yeah, it starts at age 7. I know.
Try 3. Try 3. I got great grandson making up his bed in the morning.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. So if you formed a goal around that, because if that's something that sparks joy for you to serve people in that way, like for example, that I got a whole lot going on right now, like literally 10 minutes. That's why I didn't know the email hadn't come, because we're getting ready for a retreat. So I totally missed that the email didn't go out. I get a text, thank God. I get a text to say, hey, no email. But my point is that with all of that, this time for me is sacred, right? This
Okay.
Thursday night time is sacred. There's a personal high that I get from sharing, from teaching, whatever. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
That I must do it, if that makes sense. And so my question for you is, what is that thing that you must do, and who is it that you must do it for?
Well, if God's the head of my life, that's who I should do it for. I don't know. I have to think about that question.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, because I would do it with expecting nothing in return.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Bible Hangout. It is,
Sorry.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, I have to answer this phone. I'm at work.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Okay. All right. We're here. Okay, great. So we're gonna keep going from there, but those are the kinds of questions you're looking for because you're trying to get at the heart of it, right? Like I'm interested in me personally. I'm interested in changing lives, right? Well, I'm influenced by how my life was changed. So I feel like giving that to someone else may also have that kind of impact on their lives. And I can sell it because I don't know where the money's gonna come from, but I know that my passion for serving these young people is gonna make it so.
Mhm.
That even if I got to $10 it with like Mary McLeod Bethune, we're gonna $10 it all the way to Israel. Right. I believe I can do better than that. But my point is that it's that what's that thing that you're willing to go, all the way in for. Mhm.
Well, like with myself, I've been working like trying to build a e-commerce business, but it hasn't been fanning out the way that I wanted it. And I was even at one of their conferences at a table, and something came up about herbs and what to take or whatever. And I just turned into this other person that nobody there had even known that I was. And people were writing down what they needed. And I said, I'm chasing something that I don't have a passion for. I was doing it more or less for the income, and it just wasn't panning out. I still haven't given up on it, but I went ahead and got enrolled in a functional nutritional class for a certification because my passion is helping people and helping people become whole. That's one of the reasons I took the intensive class at church and became a teacher at the time that I did, because it's a holistic life that makes you whole, not just getting your spiritual life together, but if everything else is falling apart, you're still not whole.
Right.
And when you become whole, you attract wholeness to you.
Yes.
And therefore that mate, that person that you want to spend life with, you'll attract someone who is more compatible.
Yes.
And I know this from experience because this is my fourth husband, but it took a lot of growth and spiritual growth added to whatever else I had going on to get me to where I am even right now. And just before I saw the message to come in for this class, because I was very involved. I just took another test today and I was going over all this memorization stuff that I got to do. But it's amazing. It's not like a chore.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. And my granddaughter has already said within a few months, by May, she wants to open it's a Medi Spa. But she would want me to do like health conferences and different things that are in my reach that I know how to do.
Yes.
And then this December the 4th, I'm speaking at a women's retreat. And it's also about being holistic and working on yourself. So that's where my passion is. And I just took it for granted for so long. Like, okay, this is me. We sit around the table and we talk, but I had never gotten to a point where I would say, I'll charge you for this information.
Yes.
So that's moving into a whole different arena.
So maybe we modify your BHAG by saying that it's $10,000 a month as a whole life practitioner? I don't know the words, how you would name it.
Well, I just made my business card yesterday, and I ordered them because I need them for December. But it's coming out as I put on there that I'm a wellness coach, health and wellness coach.
And that's it. Then it's 10,000 a month or more as a health and wellness coach. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because then that's specific. And
Yes.
then you can get even more specific as you begin to identify your niche. Because what you find, like, I want to help everybody. I think what I got is for everybody. But the truth is, there's a common denominator in terms of y'all that's showing up.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can fool myself if I want to. Okay, I really do. I think I can sell the truth to anybody.
Right.
But I gotta honor who's showing up. Not that the audience will not grow, but you guys are part of that early core before this thing is worldwide, right? So,
yes.
So it's recognizing that and honoring that and then serving that, because once you name who you're serving, then what begins to happen is more people like that start to show up. And sometimes we're so afraid to say this and not that, but if you think about the people that you are excited about, they have thrown down the gauntlet and said this and not that, and they made you get off the fence with the way they showed up. You know, not to pick on anybody, but Kanye West is gonna make you decide. Either you are with me or you can't stand me, right? That and you know, again, not picking on him. Everybody's a child of God, but my point is that it's when what helps you monetize you is that you help people opt into you by being clear what you are about. We had one of the things that it goes through in this book is identifying, like, what are your core values, right? What is your organization, the organization of you, the organization of your life, or your organization is like a business. What are you about, right? And we're doing this process professionally, and one of the things that came out was like, well, whatever the values are, they're the values of the people that work with you, and they're the values of the people that come to you for your services. And so those values are outward facing and inward facing. And so one of them was success driven. And I was like, okay, I get that from an employee standpoint, but how does that work with a customer standpoint? And once we drill down, it was like, wait a minute, no, this is about someone being success driven in terms of being proactive about their account. I don't want people who are passive, who are like, yeah, just go do it for me. And I was like, I hadn't thought about it that way. So it's just getting clear on who you are. So then if you are that kind of customer, that's not your customer, right? Because you know that you want people that are co-creating this process with you, not, I sit back, you go do it, or whatever. I never show up for anything, whatever. I never really participate, that they're an active part of the corporate culture, even though they're on it, they're in it from the customer side. So I'm saying that in regards to what we're doing is that in this space, when we're identifying what that vivid vision is, what are those core values? What do you stand for? And then everybody that's connected to you needs to stand for that. That you got to toe the line. I learned this from Reverend Galen. I can't remember what the circumstances were now, but this is early on when I was, in the ministry, and I'd ask him something about our bylaws. And he said, well, the thing about your bylaws is that you have to hold to them to the letter, because if you don't hold to them to the letter, then no one else will. Basically, you show everyone else how to show up by the way that you show up. And so understanding what those core values are is important.
Yes.
All right. So I want to start with, we're in part 2 And part 2 starts with how to write it, right? So this is what we're going to talk about tonight, is like how to write the vision. And so the first part, which I think is, this is why I said this applies to anybody. I'm on page 47. He says, to begin the process of creating your vivid vision, your first job is to free your mind from day-to-day worries of running your business. Now, substitute in day-to-day worries of running your life, day-to-day worries of managing your family, day-to-day worries of managing your health, or whatever your goal is around. That's what you are getting clear. You're taking that time to get clear on, get to clear your mind. And we take for granted the weight that the things in our experience hold over us until they're out of our experience. And I was having this conversation with someone today who said, you know, I was in the process of losing my home. I didn't want to lose the home, and I was trying everything until it just couldn't work out, and I just had to let go. And the moment that I let go, a bigger house came into my space. Basically, I was able to do something, get this bigger space. But it was letting go of the lesser in order to have the greater. And so many times our lives are so full from end to end that there is no room for anything. I'm about to say Jim Rohn, but that's not who I mean. John Maxwell talked in his book, Thinking for a Change. One of the things that he talks about creating, and I try to do it this year with varying degrees of success, is to have a think week, like some periodic time across the year, to have a think week where you take off and you just think, like you build that into your process, into how you do life, so that you have that time. You know, it's becoming more popular, but maybe not as popular, but to take a mental health day, because we're not made to just go. That there has to be space created so that something new can come in. We are, a phrase I love to use, that it's hard to fill a full cup. Sometimes our cups are so full with the things of the world, the things of just doing life, that we never have time to just get a new thought. Yeah. Any thoughts on that?
That's what you were just saying. I had thought about it today. So it's amazing that you have mentioned it. And one of the things I used to do was set aside a whole day, and where I didn't really talk on the phone or do any of that, but I would fast. Mm-hmm. And the more I read about fasting, it's also the time that the cells in your body rejuvenate, but there are blood cells that act like Pac-Man that eat up toxins and other things when you're in that frame of mind.
Right.
And that's extreme for your health. I mean, yeah. You know, if you take time to do that, because you're not worrying, you're not stressing on time clocks and clocking in and doing things. You're not meal planning because you're not. So you're really letting go of a lot of stressful situations. And I haven't done that for a while. And I was thinking today that's something I need to get back to.
Right. Anybody else? Thank you for that. Yes.
Reverend Sherri, I just thought about, I'm in this class with Reverend Sherri, the weight loss, and we
Yes.
have to tear down the wall of all the things that we're holding on to, you know. So I don't know, I thought about that automatically.
Yeah.
And a wellness day sounds really, really good. And I'm going to start doing that. Yeah.
It is. It's making room for God. It's making room. And, you know, sometimes making room is doing what we're doing now, right? We're in a spiritual class. But sometimes making room is go to the beach. Sometimes making room is stay in the bed, you know, turn the alarm off and sleep until you wake up. He says that means leaving the office, grab a notepad and a pen and go somewhere inspiring. So Tony Robbins talks about this, but it's validated by psychology, which is that your environment supports the release of whatever is inside of you, right? So that means that your environment can keep certain qualities recessed, and your environment can make certain qualities come out. And so one hack that you can use for creativity is environmental design. In fact, in Atomic Habits, which is a great book to read, James Clear, he talks about using environmental design to hack or to support the creation or the stopping of a habit that you either want to bring in or bring out of your life. So what that could look like is, well, in order for me to have cookies, I'm going to put them on the top shelf in the garage behind the heavy toolkit. I'm not going to tell myself I can't have them, but I'm essentially going to make it inconvenient for me to get them, right? Because oftentimes what the trigger is, you open the cabinet, there's the Oreos, there's the whatever, and it's like, oh, well, it's right there. But if it's in the garage, on the top shelf, behind the heavy toolkit, you've essentially raised the cost of the action of eating the cookies, right? And I'm saying that with what he's talking about here is environmental design, that putting yourself in a space that is creative will bring certain qualities out of you. So if you go, I don't know where your local fancy hotel is, but it don't cost you nothing to go sit in the lobby and journal. And so go find that table at the Ritz-Carlton or at the Marquis or whatever, the Peninsula, whatever your fancy hotel is in your city, at the Waldorf Astoria, right? Go sit there with your journal or whatever, and your pen and your pad, and work on your vivid vision. What you don't want to do is work on your vivid vision in your home. Now listen, if all you can do is that, then do that. Right? But ideally, you're getting out from the space, because what happens is that your home represents your present level of consciousness. So the thoughts and the ideas that occur to you are going to be in accord with your present level of consciousness. And if you're trying to grow and go somewhere, then what you don't want to do is be in the space that supports you as you are right now. You're muted.
I'm gonna tell you something else I used to do. This was back in the 80s, before I was even introduced to New Thought. But I used to get dressed up, go find me a restaurant in Beverly Hills, get me a table. I might not order anything but a salad and some water. And I would sit there writing. And I remember I even had one lady walk over to me. She said, "I know you. Can I have your autograph?" I gave it to her. I know she got home and said, "Who the heck is this?" It was before Facebook. There's no way she could have Googled it. But those kind of things are things that I used to do and go sit at the beach. But being caught up in the family dynamics and the things that have been going on, I have forgotten about those kind of things that I
Yes.
used to do.
Yes.
But and I mentioned it to some people. They say, go to dinner by myself in an
Yes.
exclusive restaurant.
Yes.
Well, that's
Yes.
what you do.
That's it. Go ahead, Robin.
No, I was going to say, I find it interesting, like what you're saying and kind of what he was talking about, because I know what's interesting is when I get on a plane and I get in the air, it's like I get all of this energy to journal and just can think more clearly and have like these connections that come together. It's like this, like you said, it's like leaving where I am. And but I've always noticed that when I'm in a plane, I can get into this spiritual space, like looking out the window and just
that's it. And so since we know that, then we want to use that in the creation of the vivid vision. Again, I get up in the morning and I write and I sit down at my desk, because right now I got an 8-year-old and a lot of things happening. So I'm not telling you not to write at home, because I'm writing at home, but I'm getting ready to go on this retreat. I'm gonna have a day on the retreat where it's just me. I don't have any obligations to anybody else, and I'm gonna get a chance to like really dig in to this vision, right? Because it's creating space. Right? You have to create space. And we don't think about how our present world imprisons us, but our present world imprisons us in our present level of consciousness, because everything that's in it is representative of how I have thought up to this point. And unless I want more of the same, I've got to go out and get something and be somewhere different so that I can get something different out of me. So page 49 at the top, he says, another thing you gain by leaving the office and entering nature is freedom from the internet. And then he says, notice that I said, grab a pad of paper and pen to write your vivid vision. I didn't say type it on the computer. There's a good reason for this. Trying to disconnect with the computer in front of you is an exercise in futility. Temptation will have you checking your email or Twitter feed to find out what's going on. You'll wonder about something and will want to Google it immediately. Before long, you're going down a rabbit hole, having been sucked back into the daily grind. A business environment triggers a response in the brain that over time becomes routine. How are we going to do this? What if that? How does this bring about that? And on ad nauseum. So the pen and the pad, and I learned this from the Magic of Thinking Big, David Schwartz, that you cannot write and think opposite of what you're writing. You can't, it is an impossibility. You'll end up writing what you're thinking. And we've done that, where you're writing something and then another thought comes in and you end up writing that word from that thought, right? If you're, especially if you're taking notes in a class and you're trying to get notes down, and so you have to go back through and almost kind of decipher your notes, because it'll be a collapse of the thoughts from the instructor, right? It's the same thing. So one of the beautiful things about journaling, I mean, writing with a pen, right? I feel like we've lost that a little bit because we're so much on our devices, is that you arrest the attention. You arrest the attention. And the thing about arrested attention is that where attention goes, energy flows. And so all of your power, your attention is your mental currency. In fact, your attention is the real money in your life. Because the money in your pocket or the money in your bank account is a function of what has had your attention. They got trillions of dollars, quadrillions, gazillions of dollars circling the planet. Some of that belongs to you. You got it. Some of that. And the only reason you don't have it, it's so easy to say, well, this system is set up and that system is set up. But I want to tell you that the world is flat. The type of oppressive system that we inherited no longer has the power that it once had, because the world is now flat, that we have the ability to go do business somewhere else. You don't like me? You don't like the color of my skin? Chunk the deuces and go sell my stuff in another country. Because you know what I know? What I got is valuable.
Yeah.
I didn't have folks of all races, all colors, all heights, all shapes, all sizes. I know I got something that translates. I might have to learn a new language, right? Everybody don't speak English, but I know I got something, right? So my point is that nothing is in the way of you having what is yours. And at this point, we're shadow boxing with a failed opponent if we are still fighting an old system of oppression. The only system of oppression you need to overcome is right here. I know it's going to step on somebody's toes.
Yeah, you hurt me.
Listen, I am a social justice person. This is not letting anybody off the hook. I think that you have a moral obligation to treat people honorably. And you can't stop the power of my mind moving in the right direction. So there is nothing. Because it's only a puzzle to me. It's not a puzzle to my creator. So me tapped into my creator makes your ruse, makes your shenanigans irrelevant. Whatever I don't know, you know, it used to be that knowledge was kept away from people, right? So you could just withhold information. I show you the parts in the Bible that only talk about the slaves. I don't show you the parts that talk about freedom, right? But we don't live in that kind of world anymore. We live in the world where literally knowledge is democratic. There's all of these like $1,000 programs, multi-$1,000 programs. They're valuable because they curate the information for you. So they collapse time for you. But the truth is that if you're willing to invest the time, you really could go figure it out yourself. That's how different the world is today. And that was not the case. They had certain books that didn't even show up in your library, depending on the neighborhood that you were in. Certain textbooks didn't even show up in your classrooms. Everything is available at Google. How does da 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 da? In fact, you don't even have to be able to spell. You can just talk it into the thing. So we really have to come into, and I'm speaking specifically to people of color, we really have to come into an understanding that there are no limits on our lives. This is not a Pollyanna, euphemistic, sweet way to look at life, rose-colored glasses. This ain't rose-colored. If you don't see it this way, something wrong with what you're looking through. And you need to clear up that vision. There are no limits on your life except for the limits that are here. So the pen and the pad, right? So the point about the pen and the pad and why it's so powerful is that you arrest the attention. And the attention arrested, meaning that you focus it in a particular direction, you become a force of nature. You're already a force of nature, but you just don't think of yourself that way. You are a force of nature. It's like, I don't know how to say, but it's, have you ever felt somebody come into a room and you turn around and go, who is that?
Mhm.
It's that, you have that in you. Where you walk into a space and it's like the world bends around you. It's my favorite, one of my favorite scenes in The Matrix. I always talk about it. It's that moment where he has stood up, he has realized who he is, and he flexes and the world bends around him. Because that's who we are. And the universe is already doing that, but we're walking through like a whisper. Try not to offend anybody. And I'm saying offend everybody. This is how you, again, Kanye. You know where you stand with Kanye. Meaning how you regard him. I'm not talking about how he feels about you. I don't think he thinks about you at all. How, right. I'm talking about how you feel about you. You're clear on your feeling about him, whatever that is. And I'm saying that what you want to become is so authentically you that the people that are for you are your raving fans. Because inevitably he'll do something and there will be the detractors and there will be the defenders. Inevitably. And that's a scary place to be authentically you. Because no one wants to feel rejection. I don't want to feel rejection. But the truth is that in order to get out and be who God created you to be, you got to go ahead and be for what you're for and let whoever is not for it be able to opt out so that you can really, really move forward.
And it's funny, I've been having that conversation with myself lately about little stuff, like where I'll do something and my thought will be like, oh, what are they going to think about that? Or what will they think about that? And I have to I've been practicing telling myself, that's not your concern, or it doesn't matter. Like, just like, because I can't control that. All I can control is me continuing to keep walking. Cause it usually comes like, as I'm getting ready to do something, it's like, what are people going to think? And it's like, no, I got to keep walking because I can't control what they think.
Right.
Right.
That's it. And it's to really get, I think I've told you guys this story before. I love Whitney Houston. I love Whitney Houston before crack. I love Whitney Houston after crack. I love Whitney Houston. I put her music on today and I just love Whitney Houston. I think she's phenomenal. And I wish that she would have had somebody like me in her life to say, girl, pull that together. Cut that dish out, right? Okay, all right. But so I was listening to, I don't know, a podcast, let's say, and someone was, I don't remember what the subject was, but what I do remember is the person saying, oh, she just sounds like she's screaming all the time. And I was like, oh. Like, how dare you think that about Whitney? How dare you think that? But I one day, and then it was the realization that like everything is not for everybody. And the person that you're the raving fan of, somebody may be a staunch opponent of. And then one day, separate and apart, these are years apart that these revelations are coming. And then one day I was walking down the street and it hit me. It was like, you're somebody's Whitney Houston. Meaning that there are people who raving fans, and then there are those who are like, I can't get with her. It don't make any sense to me, right? And so you want to be so authentically you that you help people make a decision. You help, and sometimes we're so busy trying not to be rejected that we never help the right people make the decision to find us. So the pen, again, just is the part of being authentically you is the arresting of the attention. And so what you want to have is you want to have periods of time, preferably every day, because I love bite-sized habits, but you want to have periods of time where you are literally writing because you can't think in opposition of what you're writing. And so it's a training. It's almost like training wheels for the mind to focus in a particular direction with whatever it is that you're writing on. And so you could take I did this with it's where the Metaphysical Bible Challenge came from. You could take a scripture. I did this with the widow with the oil, and just write on that story every day for 90 days, let's say. That what happens is that you begin to, just like you're putting training wheels on the mind. And so the same thing with the vivid vision is to just take that time and write it out longhand. Typing is fine, but writing it out longhand is going to get you further. Because you want, you can type and multitask. You can't write and multitask. It's just not, we're not wired that way. Any thoughts on that?
For me, I just agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Getting out of wherever you are with a pad and paper and writing, longhand. It's something about just channeling from the mind to the hand and not even caring what the handwriting looks like, just getting it out, stream of consciousness.
Yes.
And that really works really well for me.
Yes. So the next one I want to give you, he says on page 52, start your vivid vision this way: calm, relaxed, and envisioning a world you'd love to help create and be part of someday. So I had a dietitian, I think she's a dietitian. Anyway, we had a kid activity for Jordan, and the person who was there was a farmer, and she was teaching the kids, but she was really teaching the adults. And she said that dirt, because the kid, she was asking them, what is this? She was showing them different parts of like the soil and stuff like that. And they said, oh, that's dirt. And she said, wait, let me tell you something. Dirt is dead because nothing can grow in it. And it's soil because it has the abilities to sustain the beginning of life germinating. And I never knew that. Maybe y'all knew that. I didn't know that. And so it was this, and I thought it was fascinating. Like I didn't know that dirt was dead and nothing could grow in it, right? But soil is fertile, and so it allows something to be grown in it. And that the analogy of that is that our minds, when they are cluttered, when they are full from end to end, is like dirt. Nothing can get in. There's a great cartoon cell that I had that said, it had a person and an animal walking, and it said, and the person had all these things they were thinking about. There's no dialogue, but there's just a little bubble cloud over there. There's all the stuff in it, like, work, money, family, whatever. There's all these little symbols that symbolize what the person was thinking about. And they were walking into a sunset, and the dog was walking with them, and the dog just had sunset in his little thing. And the caption said, mindful or mind filled. And that really captured it. Like, is your mind so full that you're missing all the beauty and nothing new can come in? Or are you in a space where newness can come into your experience? And so when you are calm and inspired and focused, you're unstoppable. The athletes, one of the things that they have to learn to do is to learn how to play with intensity, calm. You'll see Serena was playing, this was when Naomi beat her, and she couldn't calm herself down because it seems idea that can't exist together, where you are serenely calm and you are intensely focused. They feel opposite of one another, but what puts you in that zone is that deep relaxation and that intense focus. Is the both of them together, coexisting with one another. You lined up like that, can't nobody do nothing with you. That's it. You're unstoppable. And so you want to utilize the tools that we've talked about over a number of different classes to get into that space of calm, focused intensity. Relaxed. And so maybe that's you work out and then sit down and write, or do some kind of stretching, stretch the body and then sit down and write, or take a walk and then, like, it's on I wanted to show you guys the software. I meant to look it up. There is a software that's called Simple Mind, and there's a free version, there's a paid version, but the free version is pretty robust. I'm trying to think if I could show this. I don't know if this is going to come out very well. Yeah, I'd have to find it online to show it to you. But it's called Simple Mind. It's they make it for definitely for the iOS system, but I think they make it for Androids too. And it's a mind map. And so mind maps are really powerful because what they help you to do is to do kind of a free association. So if you just took a word and you said the word, grace, and then mind map everything that came off of grace, it will be a way to help you get your ideas out of your head and into some form. So you can start your vision that way, where you're mind mapping it, and then you take that mind map and begin to write from that mind map. He said, it's like the dream home. This is on page 57. It's like the dream home. Your job is to dream about what the home can look like. The architect and the engineer will figure out how to make that happen. You don't have to be the architect and the engineer. Your job is to be the visionary. And every person, place, or thing that you need in order to accomplish will begin to show up in your experience. I don't know how I'm going to get these kids fully paid to Israel, but I bet somebody wants to pay for it. I bet there's somebody who will buy into that dream. I bet there's somebody who will hear that and go, gosh, that would have made a difference. Or it could be somebody who's like, you know what, I had something like that and it changed my life. Where y'all at? Y'all quiet.
I'm thinking about being chaperone on your trip to Israel.
That's it. That's it. I'm gonna need folk to go. That's it. That's it. He says, one on page 58 at the bottom, he says, once the document is worded precisely to your satisfaction, then spice it up with some stylish graphic design. Think of this as your company Bible. So take pride in it. You want to use graphic design elements from your website or your marketing materials if you can, or anything that will inspire the reader without distracting them. Consider including your logo, your color palette, or anything else that identifies the vivid vision with your company's brand. Try to keep the finished product to 4 pages of content or less. Now, I think, yes, it's valuable because I think if you an economy of words is better, but I don't know if you need to be married to 4 pages. You're going to send this out to potential and current employees, suppliers, and customers. So that may not be the case if this is a life plan that you're working on. It may be something that maybe you talk about with your spouse or something like that. But if you're a single person, it may not be something that you share with anybody, right? But it could be something that you share with your mastermind group, right? It's if everybody in the group is working on their vision, and then everyone is holding each other accountable for the vision, for their respective visions. So those are all possibilities. But I want to stop right there. I'm trying to think, do I have another? No, that's right, exactly where I want to be. I want to stop right there and kind of open the floor and then provide some support. What questions do you have? What things are unclear? Have you started to like work on the vision? You know, because I know the book is a quick read. It's very easy to like get through it.
Well, I'm working on my vision, but sometimes when I sit to actually just vision what it is, I get distracted and other things start to come up. And I heard this one person say, when those other thoughts come up, put them on a cloud and watch them float away and then refocus. But because I do that in the mornings when I first wake up. I don't just jump out of bed. I try to lay there and vision my day, vision something. And it's always something that just pops up.
Yeah. Where are you sitting down to write?
No, this is before I even get out of bed. I start to do that.
But when you talk about getting distracted, where is that happening?
When I'm trying to create the vision in my head and I'm laying there in my room and these other thoughts just start like, who do you think you are? How are you gonna do that?
Right. And so there may be an environmental design.
Okay.
There may be an environmental design challenge. Not a visioning challenge, but it's meaning that it's valuable to have that as a daily activity. I think that you keep, right? But I think building in that time where you get away, you go to that Beverly Hills restaurant.
Ooh, girl.
They all grown now. I mean, shoot, the grandkids are grown now.
Yeah, they are.
So the children can keep the grandkids or the great grandkids. And then this is my wellness day. Hello. This is my wellness day. And I'm gonna go do some thinking about where God is taking.
Even to the beach. I mean, that was also a place that I used to go and just sit and look at the awesomeness of God, because it's almost like the sky meets the ocean. And with all that vastness that God is taking care of, I know that he can take care of these things that I come up with, because it's not as big as the ocean.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody else?
Where I am right now is I've done I spend time doing the visioning, just like daydreaming and letting things come out in pages and pages of that. So where I am right now is I need to, and I'm not saying I'll be doing it next week because I can't do it next week, but it's going through my pages and starting to see if I can structure it into an overall, like either company or under one umbrella, to start making components. Like this would be one component of the company. This is another component. So that's just where I am right now. So I have all of the vision, the daydreaming, but now I have to go and add some structure to it and see what ideas go with where and all of that.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Robin, what about you?
For me, I need to find a place to go. So when I was reading in the book and he was talking about go out in nature and stuff, and I'm like, wow, I should have read this in the summer, because going outside is not what I'm trying to do. So I like the ideas that you were talking about, like going to a hotel or something.
A museum.
Yeah. Like I need to go somewhere, because like I said, I know that I believe like what you're saying is your present state of consciousness is trapped in the house, which makes me think I need to do a purification ritual, but that's a whole nother thing. And but yeah, so I that's what I'm thinking, like trying to figure out, especially since next week is kind of like a kind of work, but not really working week. Like where can I go to just kind of get out of the house and somewhere where I can just do
Right.
some dreaming, like what Shamika said she did. And
A hotel. He mentioned like going to a hotel lobby, like the W
Yeah,
outdoor, you know,
yeah,
go to those places.
yeah. And it don't cost nothing to order a drink, order like a diet soda or sparkling water or something, and you're there.
What about the library? Does that help? Does that open?
So I would say if it's a pretty library,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah.
They're
Like
nice
I would say
libraries.
like maybe not the local branch, but your downtown branch.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah. Because again, what you're trying to do, you want to be someplace where you feel inspired. So I think the library is fine because it's quiet. But I think that look for one that's picturesque. I learned about this library in Manhattan Beach that we have here, Earlene. It faces the ocean. They have a room with like big, large floor to ceiling picture windows that look out at the ocean. It's like a reading space. And I was like, oh my God, like this is incredible. So
Where is that?
In Manhattan Beach. It's the Manhattan Beach Library. Yes.
Okay.
So it's going to, it's going where you feel inspired, right? You want to awaken. Remember, where you are awakens different things in you, right? So something that is inspiring is going to awaken that creativity and that inspiration in you.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I'm so grateful for you guys. Now we won't meet next week because it's Thanksgiving, one of my favorite holidays, second only to Christmas. But we will be back on December 2nd, I believe it is. Yeah, December 2nd. We will not have class on December 9th because we have a financial workshop that evening, but we'll have class again on the 16th, and that'll conclude 2021. So
that's so crazy.
yes. So I'm excited. I've got some big plans. We will take a break. We'll be down in January because I have brought on a social media expert, and I've repositioned my virtual assistant. So I have 2 people now supporting me with the Bible Hangout so you're going to start to see things differently. So the videos are going to start to look different. My social media presence is going to start to look different. And what we're working on is growing the base. Like I've got 978 subscribers. And so right now our first milestone is get to 1,000 and then get to the next, group, whatever. So that's what we're working on. So I guess I should make this plug. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. So so that I'm very, very excited about. It's just growing, right? And serving who I am called to serve, and stretching it out. So thank you so much for being here. I will see you guys after Thanksgiving.
All right.
Okay, everybody enjoy.
Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everybody.